Welcome back, everyone, to Deep Dive. We've had a ton of requests to tackle Thomas Hardy's Tess of the D'Urbervilles.
Oh, yeah, it's a classic for a reason.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, diving into those excerpts you all sent, it's clear this isn't just some lighthearted romance.
No, not at all. Well, it's pretty heavy stuff.
Right. Like we're talking intense social pressures, family drama, tragedy, all hitting this one young woman. And, I think what we really want to do today is go beyond just summarizing the plot.
Yeah, we gotta dig deeper.
Exactly. Figure out what makes this story tick. What are those big takeaways that'll stick with you?
I think we've got some really good excerpts here to do just that. We can really get a sense of Tessa's world and all the forces acting on her.
Okay, so where does Hardy first drop us into this world?
Well, it all starts with this kind of bombshell, right? Parson Tringham telling John Durbeyfield about his supposed fancy ancestry. And the thing is, Durbeyfield's reaction is, well, it's not what you'd expect.
Oh, totally. He's not like, wow, what an honor. He's like, wait, so where's my silver spoons? Where are the horses?
Right. And that question, where do we D'Urbervilles live now? Where do we raise our smoke? It's so funny in a way.
Yeah. Like, he's so focused on the material stuff, not the history, which, is kind of Hardy's way of poking fun at how people value things like titles and wealth. It's not about true character. It's about appearances.
Totally. And then, bam, Hardy throws us into this incredibly vivid description of the Vale of Blackmoor. And it's more than just setting. It's like this character in itself almost.
Oh, absolutely. He paints this picture of a fertile and sheltered tract, always green, always with water. It's so different from the those dry hills and farmlands around it. You can almost feel how calm and peaceful it is.
Yeah, he describes it as languorous, and those hedgerows, he says they look like a network of dark green threads from far away.
It's like this little world all its own. Like Hardy says, it's constructed upon a smaller and more delicate scale. And it's the only world Tess knows at first, which is, kind of foreshadowing because things are about to change for her big time. Going from that sheltered vale to, well, we'll see.
And within that little world, you can already see all these social pressures at play, even something like the village dance at Marlet.
Oh, yeah, just a glimpse, but so telling. That eclipsing girl showing up and suddenly all the guys want to dance.
And Hardy even points out that even the plainest woman there didn't have to dance on the guy's side anymore.
It's all about who's the most popular, who gets the attention. And, that kind of sets the stage for how Tess will have to navigate those same dynamics, just on a much bigger scale later on.
And then Hardy slams us right into the reality of Tess's family life. Her mother, Mrs. Durbeyfield, always working. Even the end of the week, she's still doing laundry.
That image of Tess's white dress getting stained, and she feels so bad because she knows how hard her mom worked to wash it. It just breaks your heart.
And those cradle rockers worn down from all the kids, it's a powerful symbol of how much they've struggled.
Yeah, those little details, they really stick with you. And then there's Rolliver's Inn, the local pub.
Oh, yeah. Hardy describes it with that little off license and that makeshift bar they have. And when Durbeyfield is talking to the parson, he even mentions how the beer there is worse than at the Pure Drop, that fancier place.
Right, like even the place they drink at shows their place in the village,
Exactly. And then, boom, Mrs. Durbeyfield gets this idea. She finds out about Lady D'Urberville, the rich one, and she's like, we gotta claim kin.
It's like she sees this as their ticket out of poverty.
And Sir John, he's like, beef, whatever. But then you can tell he's kind of intrigued, like, maybe there's something to this.
Oh, totally. He's all about that supposed noble lineage, even though it's pretty clear it doesn't mean much anymore.
But Tess, she's not into it. She's like, no way, this is gonna ruin our reputation.
Yeah, she's got this sense of pride. She doesn't want people knowing the real reason she has to go, and she insists that Abraham goes with her.
Which shows how uncomfortable she is with the whole thing. Like, she needs someone to protect her, even if it's her little brother.
And poor Abraham.
Yeah.
He overhears stuff at Rolliver's and thinks they've suddenly become, like, royalty. He thinks Tess is going to marry some rich guy.
And she's like, no, absolutely not.
It's almost funny if it wasn't so sad, because you just know things are going to go wrong.
And then, of course, there's that awful accident with Prince, the horse. Tess falls asleep.
It's like that exhaustion. It was just bound to happen. And she blames herself. She feels like a murderer.
Which is a huge weight to carry. And then, with the horse gone, their family's in even worse shape. No more haggling business. They're really struggling.
And that's what pushes Tess to finally go to Mrs. D'Urberville. It's not for herself. It's for her family.
And as she goes, Hardy makes it really clear that Tess doesn't know much about the world outside the Veil. Everything she knows is from village school teaching.
She's so innocent, so unprepared for what's coming.
And at home, her mother's obsessed with appearances. She's so proud of how Tess looks. She even uses a black cloak as a mirror.
It's kind of comical, but also sad. And she's got these crazy ideas about Tess marrying their so-called gentleman cousin.
She's like, wake up, lady. And Sir John, he's so delusional, he even tries to sell the D'Urberville title.
He's like a caricature of a fallen nobleman. But then there's that local woman who sees right through Alec.
Oh, yeah. She's like, that guy's totally into Tess, and he only cares about her looks.
It's harsh, but true. And then there's that first meeting with Alec. He's driving like a maniac, showering Tess with compliments.
And Hardy contrasts the Green Valley, where Tess is from, with the gray country around Trantridge.
It's like she's entering this whole other world, and it's not a friendly one.
Yeah.
And then the horse almost runs her over.
And Alec's all fake concern, trying to make her feel sorry for him. But Tess, she sees right through it.
But she's trapped. She can't just go home. Her family needs her. So she stays, even though she doesn't trust him.
And at the mansion, it's not the warm welcome they expected. Mrs. D'Urberville is cold, and she's never even heard of them.
Hardy has this line about how she's not the first mother compelled to love her offspring resentfully.
Like, there's some serious baggage there with Alec.
Definitely. And Alec himself, he's constantly doing these little things to get close to Tess, teaching her how to whistle to the birds, giving her advice about the livestock.
It's all calculated. He calls her cousin all the time, trying to break down her boundaries.
And because she's so dependent on his mother, she kind of has to put up with it.
Then there's that incident with the treacle. It seems like nothing, but it sparks this rivalry with the other girl.
Tess just laughs, and this dark queen gets furious.
It shows how quickly Tess becomes an outsider. And then things take a really dark turn in the chase. Tess is tired from the walk, and Alec pretends to be concerned. He even offers her his coat.
But he's leading her astray on purpose. He's driving aimlessly, and they end up lost in this thick fog.
And Hardy uses that darkness to symbolize something bigger, you know? He talks about the old trees, the birds sleeping, the animals moving around in the dark, and he asks these deep questions about fate and why bad things happen to good people.
It's like he's saying that sometimes the world just isn't fair. And then there's that bit about Tess's ancestors maybe being cruel themselves. Like, is this some kind of cycle repeating itself?
After that night, Tess is a changed person. She meets the sign painter with all these gloomy messages, and she starts to question everything.
He's so sure that everyone gets what they deserve, but she knows it's not that simple.
And when she goes home, it's devastating. She just wants to hide. It's like all the hope she had is gone.
But slowly, she starts to heal. She finds comfort in the church, in the music.
She loves those old psalms. She even has this thought about how powerful music is, even if you don't know who wrote it.
It's like she's connecting to something bigger than herself.
Right.
And then she gets this chance to work at Talbotha's dairy.
Which is a whole new world. Hardy describes the harvest scene so vividly, it's like you're right there.
That reaping machine with its arms of painted wood, it looks like liquid fire. And the women working, their clothes, the way they move, it's beautiful.
But Tess is still carrying all this baggage. She's resigned to her fate, and she's fiercely protective of her baby.
And her father, he's so irresponsible. He refuses to get a parson for the baptism.
So they end up doing this secret little ceremony with the children.
And it's like this turning point for Tess. She goes from a simple girl to this complex woman.
The narrator even says that all her experiences could have been a good education if society wasn't so judgmental.
That's true, isn't it? But Tess, she just wants to escape her past. She can't stand being in Marlott where everyone knows what happened.
And then comes Talbotha's. It's near those old D'Urberville estates, which is kind of ironic.
It makes you think about how her past is always with her, in a way. But she's also drawn to it, maybe hoping for something good to come from being on that land.
And then she meets Angel Clare. He seems like a regular farm worker, but there's something different about him.
She doesn't even realize it's the same guy she saw at the dance back in Marlott.
And all the milkmaids, they're whispering about him. He's a parson's son, he's educated, and he's not interested in any of them.
He's a mystery. And we find out that he turned down Cambridge. He's not interested in wealth or social status.
He's looking for something more meaningful.
And then there's this moment where Tess is talking about how she likes to lie in the field at night and look at the stars.
And the dairyman, he's like, what are you talking about?
It shows how different Tess is. She's got this deep inner life. She's not just focused on the practical stuff.
And as they work together at Talbothays, their feelings for each other start to grow.
Those cows, each one with its own personality.
Mm.
And the milkmaids have all these little tricks to make them cooperate.
It's such a realistic picture of life on a dairy farm. And then there's that scene in the garden where Tess is surrounded by all these plants and flowers.
Hardy describes the smells, the pollen, the dirt on her skin.
And she goes to find Angel, and they have this deep conversation about life and their fears.
Angel realizes that Tess is really thoughtful. She's got this ache of modernism, as he calls it.
He's drawn to her intelligence, and Tess, she understands why Angel chose this life.
He's not a farmer out of necessity. He wants to build something for himself. It's pretty unconventional.
And then they're peeling these flowers called lords and ladies, and Tess makes this comment about how unfair society is.
And Angel kind of brushes it off, but you can tell he's noticing her more and more.
And those mornings in the mead with the mist all around, Angel sees how beautiful Tess is in that soft light.
It's like they're the only two people in the world.
But there's still all this superstition in the air. The dairyman is worried that if people are in love, it'll ruin the butter.
He tells this long story about a guy named Jack Dollop who hid in the churn to avoid an angry mother.
It's hilarious, but it also shows how much these traditions matter to them.
And then there are the other milkmaids, all vying for Angel's attention. They're so obvious about it. Marion's making jokes. Is confessing her feelings.
Reddy's just silently pining. And then Iz kisses Angel.
It's like a competition. But Tess isn't jealous. She knows Angel cares about her.
But she's also really cautious because of her past. She's heard stories about how Angel thinks marriage should be.
He's got these very specific ideas. And then one day, someone complains that the butter tastes weird.
Turns out there's wild garlic in the mead.
Just little detail, but it shows how these everyday things can cause problems.
And then they have to go to Melstock. The lane's flooded.
Tess offers to climb the bank so Angel won't get his good clothes wet.
But he just scoops her up and carries her across.
It's so romantic. He even whispers something about Leah and Rachel from the Bible.
And they share this moment of silence, and Tess is so self-conscious about her weight.
And Angel reassures her. He says she's perfect.
They almost kiss, but the water rises and interrupts them.
It's like fate is testing them. And when they get back, everyone's giving them knowing looks.
Summer at the dairy is intense. It's hot, the flies are everywhere, everyone's tired.
But Angel and Tess are spending more and more time together. He even starts milking with her, and he's getting good at it.
And Hardy describes how the younger milkmaids, they milk differently than the older ones. They rest their heads against the cows, lost in thought.
It's beautiful, and you can see Angel watching Tess, completely captivated by her.
And one day, he just can't hold back anymore. He drops his pail and embraces her.
It's like this burst of emotion he can't control. And then Angel goes home to visit his family.
We meet his parents, his brothers, Felix and Cuthbert.
They're all very proper, very religious.
And his brothers, they're so focused on the latest trends, the right books to read, the right artists to admire.
It's all about appearances.
And Angel has this conversation with his father about finding a wife. His father wants him to marry a pious woman.
But Angel describes Tess, and he kind of idealizes her, you know?
Yeah.
He makes her sound like this perfect country girl.
And his father talks about all the problems he has in his parish. He's got this very strict interpretation of the Bible.
But Angel, he admires his father's actions more than his beliefs. He realizes that his father's kind of out of touch with the real world.
And then Angel goes back to Talbothays. Hardy describes the journey so well. The heat, the humidity.
And Angel, he knows all the cows by name now. He's really become a part of this world.
And they have this talk about sermons, and Angel realizes that Tess is actually quite religious in her own way.
She's sincere, even if her beliefs aren't conventional. And Angel, he respects that.
But he keeps pushing her to marry him, and she keeps saying no. She says she's not good enough for him.
She's terrified of what his friends will think.
And Angel teases her, calls her a coquette, but then he apologizes.
He really believes she's honest, and he can't understand why she wouldn't want to be with him.
And all the other milkmaids are laughing and having fun, but Tess feels so isolated.
She goes off by herself to the river, and Angel follows her.
He keeps using all this dairy imagery to woo her, you know. He's completely smitten.
And Tess is fighting her feelings. She loves him so much, but she's afraid. She keeps saying, I can never be his wife.
And they're walking in the mist, getting closer and closer. Angel's so happy just to be with her.
And Tess almost tells him her secret. She says she's only hesitant because of him, because of a question she has.
But Angel just pushes her to forget about it. He's so blinded by his love.
And then he starts talking about her ancestry. He says he prefers her to be from common folk, but he's okay with it because he loves her.
He even tells her to spell her name D'Urberville properly.
And they remember the dance at Marlet, and Tess worries that it's a bad omen.
So she writes to her mother, asking for advice. Should she tell Angel the truth?
And her mother's adamant, absolutely not. She tells Tess to keep quiet about her bygone trouble.
She says other women have done the same thing, and no one's the wiser.
And so Tess decides to obey. And for a while, she's happy. She feels like she's living in a dream.
She sees Angel as this perfect being, a saint, a seer.
Angel is making plans to take her away from England, to start a new life where no one knows them.
They spend these blissful evenings by the river, completely lost in each other.
And after they get engaged, everyone notices how happy Tess is. She's glowing, she's laughing all the time.
It's like her love for Angel is a shield, protecting her from the past.
But deep down, she knows it can't last forever. And then, Angel suggests they get married in 2 weeks.
But Tess hesitates. She needs more time to think.
And just then, the dairyman and his wife show up with 2 of the milkmaids.
It's like this reminder that the real world is still there.
And Tess is so worried about what the other milkmaids will think, she feels like she's not worthy of Angel.
Reddy is heartbroken. Iz and Marion say that they feel hindered by Tess.
And Tess breaks down. She says they're all better than her, that Angel should have chosen one of them.
But they comfort her. They say that she's the best for him.
It's a sweet moment. But then there's this weird incident at the end. This drunk guy shows up and Angel gets defensive.
Turns out the guy mistook Angel for someone else, but it kind of rattles Tess.
And then she hears this story about a D'Urberville family coach and some terrible things that happen in the house where they're supposed to honeymoon.
It's like this premonition of doom.
When they get to the cottage, it's quiet. No one from Marlet came to see them off. And Angel's family is not happy about the marriage.
Tess is reassured when Angel says he doesn't want to know her secret before the wedding.
She's so focused on becoming his wife that she pushes all her fears aside.
But in the cottage, there are these portraits of D'Urberville women, and they look like Tess.
It creeps Angel out. He regrets choosing that place.
Their luggage is late, and the day turns gloomy. And then a messenger arrives with a letter for Tess.
It's from Angel's brothers, and it tells him everything about her past.
Angel is devastated. He can't believe the woman he loves is the same person as the girl in the letter.
He calls her a stranger. He's cruel. He says she's like a field full of weeds.
Tess confesses. She tells him how her mother sent her to Tranteridge, how Alec tricked her.
But Angel can't forgive her. He's too stuck on his ideas of what's right and wrong. He leaves, and the wine they were supposed to share sits untouched.
That night, Tess follows him outside. He looks scary to her, and she's suddenly aware of the jewels he gave her.
They walk across a bridge in silence. Later, someone remembers seeing 2 figures walking in the fields, lost in their sorrow.
The next morning, the cottage is filled with despair.
They can barely look at each other.
Tess wants to tell him that she thought about killing herself, but she stops because she doesn't want to ruin his name.
Angel is horrified and makes her promise not to do anything.
He's so bitter. He rants about how women are supposed to be respectable.
Tess just takes it. She still loves him.
Angel keeps asking himself what he should do.
Tess overhears him and asks directly what their future will be.
And Angel says something cynical about people settling down because they're tired. He starts packing.
Tess packs too, even though she knows this might be the end.
That night, Angel starts sleepwalking. He's reliving some kind of fight he had in the past.
Tess isn't scared. She just watches over him. And then they leave the cottage together.
Their journey takes them near Talbothays, but it's not the same anymore.
Everything reminds them of their lost happiness.
Tess finds out that Reddy tried to kill herself. Marion's drinking. Iz can't sing anymore.
It's like their happiness destroyed everyone around them.
Tess can't face going home, so she leaves her things and walks to the village alone.
She's so afraid of how her family will react.
Her mother immediately tells Mr. Clare that Tess is back.
And Sir John is dramatic as always. He's worried about what people will say. He even talks about killing himself.
Tess doesn't stay long. Angel writes to her saying he's going north.
And Tess uses that as an excuse to leave. She gives her mother money, pretending it's from Angel.
She wants her family to believe that everything's all right.
Angel shows up at the cottage looking for Tess.
Joan is vague. She doesn't want to tell him the truth.
The little kids even ask Angel if he's going to marry Tess.
Angel goes to Tranteridge, to the mansion. He finds out that Mrs. D'Urberville is still alive.
He asks to see Tess, using the name Angel.
He's taken to the dining room and he sees how nice everything is. He thinks Tess must have sold the jewels.
And then he hears footsteps, and he waits, full of anxiety.
It is Tess, but she's changed. Angel can't even speak.
He realizes that the Tess he knew is gone.
Tess leaves without a word, and Angel wanders around, lost.
The landlady overhears Tess talking to Alec.
She finds out that he's been manipulating Tess, lying about Angel, and that Tess gave in to him out of desperation.
She blames Alec for everything.
The landlady is scared and goes to get help.
They find Alec dead, and Tess is sleeping next to him.
She wakes up calmly and confesses.
Tess and Angel are reunited, and they flee. They're exhausted, and they come across Stonehenge.
The wind is howling, and Angel touches the stones, feeling their ancient power.
They go inside the circle, looking for shelter.
As the sun rises, Tess asks what Stonehenge was for. Angel says he thinks it was a place of sacrifice to the sun.
And then the police arrive.
Angel begs them to let Tess sleep.
They see her and they're silent.
Angel stays with her as she wakes up.
And that's the end of Tess's story. It's a story about how society can crush even the most innocent person.
About how the past can haunt you, no matter how hard you try to escape it.
And about how love can be so powerful, but also so destructive.
We see how tracked Tess was by her family, by Alec, by Angel's rigid morality.
Those little details, the worn cradle rockers, the portraits in the honeymoon cottage, the untouched wine, they all add up to this overwhelming sense of tragedy.
And it makes you wonder, was her fate inevitable? Or was it the choices people made that led to her downfall?
That's something for all of you to think about. What role does fate play in our lives? How much control do we really have? Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.